Hello everyone, my name is Abhilash Aswad and in this video I'd like to share my views on how to approach case competitions for B schools. This will be a multi-part video and this particular part will focus on the general aspects of the competition. Some of the competitions that will come your way are HUL Line, Colgate Transcend, Google Case Challenge, Amazon Ace, Airtel iCreate, Hero Campus Challenge, Tata Steelathon, and the tips that I will discuss will primarily be for them. You will be flooded by the onset of these competitions in a B school, and this is probably one thing that is often neglected between placements, academics, and extracurriculars. But in my opinion, the corporate competitions serve as an opportunity to solve real world business problems and get an idea of professional work. And considering the incentives that these competitions come up with, they are surely underrated. We'll discuss the incentives shortly. Many people believe that the rate of success in competitions is very low. This might be true, but in my experience, if you keep learning and participating, eventually the secret to success will be yours. Another thing that people miss out is the rich experience you derive out of these competitions. I can bet many of us can talk endlessly about a topic where we gained knowledge only after participating in the competition and had very little idea before that. So, what do you get out of these competitions? To talk in materialistic terms, cash prize, a CV point, certificates, goodies, a travel opportunity maybe, but the real incentive I believe is the learning exposure that you will get that will help you in final placements. Not all competitions have an internship offer or a full-time offer, but the problems we solve in corporate competitions are repeated during final placements. I personally recall a common theme of electric bikes and shared mobility solution which was asked by a company during final placements. And having worked on a solution for a significant amount of time, I was able to recall all challenges, solutions, and implementations within 5 minutes. This helped me impress the interviewer in a very short time. One of the major reasons why networking is emphasized is because it gives an opportunity to work with their batchmates, understand their work ethic, watch out for their skills, and how much value do they bring to the table. So find teammates you enjoy spending time with and with whom your energies match. This is because the level of adaptability will come in handy to deal with the pressure of work, collaboration, and deadlines. Find batchmates who are adept in a particular domain so that everyone brings something unique to the table. This would come in handy in approaching a problem with multiple points of view. By being diverse, I also mean a team with a blend of candidates with problem solving skills, work experience or freshers, domain knowledge, presentation skills, determination, and time management. Be sure to experiment with several batchmates in your first year, as this is a great opportunity to network with a deeper sense of bond. I assume that first trimester presents a plethora of opportunities to experiment and shuffle teams. Use this opportunity to identify skills your batchmates possess. In my opinion, in the first year, the aim is not to win any competition, but to identify the right teammates with the right attitude and the right skill so that you can participate effectively in the second year of MBA. But this does not mean you cannot be competitive in the first year. In short, explore options. After you're done exploring, do settle with a primary team because you will participate in a lot of competitions with parallel deadlines. It becomes easier to coordinate if you have common competitions, and there is minimum room for unavoidable conflicts with time constraints. This group should be a reliable set of people with excellent skills and share the same passion as you do. Next, we discuss the first impression of the case competition. Read the case study thoroughly at least 3 times with significant attention. This is to understand the nucleus of the problem, and you should be able to figure out what exactly is it the case wants from you. Upon reading the problem, you should relate the problem to a real world problem that may have happened in the past or is currently occurring or the company is anticipating in the future. This would open up plenty of opportunity to do research about the problem. For example, if the case problem is talking about improving logistic performance about an e-commerce firm, chances are Amazon has faced them in the past. Analyze the case points to define the problem. Now, set up a time to brainstorm with your teammates. Do this for multiple sessions as perspective change. But don't overdo this. Remember to stick to the problem and keep extra information for the qualifying stages. At this point, your plan should not be to jump to the solution, but plan on differentiating from the common idea that everyone is going to follow. By this, I mean ditch the obvious ideas and identify a smart solution. Divide the problem amongst all team members and explore the possibilities. There's no point if all members invest time over the same thing. Now, if possible, talk to people who are facing a similar problem as has been the case. This means conduct primary and secondary research. It has dual benefits. A, your facts will be real. B, the judges will be impressed when you are able to cite conversations with people who are living the problem. You should also quantify the problem with as much data as possible. If no secondary data is available, leverage surveys to capture results. One tip that helped me was to go through reports on the burning issues by major consulting firms. These reports gave an insight into what problems are prevalent and what could be done realistically. These reports come from the offices of key partners who have numerous clients, and they share an invaluable opinion about the industry practices. This is as close to the real world problem as it gets. Ultimately, companies want solutions that are tangible, ones they can execute readily, with existing budget, and feel excited to promote to the internal stakeholders. Brownie points: if you can craft a clear outline for how you will launch the idea, what money you will leverage, and what existing resources you can draw on the competencies of the company. Build a roadmap for how your solution might evolve and grow as you scale, 3, 5, or 10 years down the line. Start with a small step and then move into what a full-scale version might look like. This shows the path for an immediate effect in the short term and a vision for the long term as well. Have data to support it. You cannot make random claims. Either you will be extremely diverged from the on-ground situation, or the truth will come out during the Q&A session. If you have used any resources, cite them, and also cite only reliable resources. Do not cite random reports or news articles. Make sure you are confident about how you arrived at those final numbers as well. The flow of your presentation should be like a great story, with your core solution as the protagonist. It could be a distinguishing factor amongst ordinary solutions. Demonstrate stories by creating use cases and leverage them to solve one problem at a time. I hope you liked this video. I will upload the next video soon about the submissions, presentations, and other things that you should focus on. If you like this video, consider subscribing to the channel so that you do not miss the update on the next video. Thank you so much.